AI agents. A lot of times when people get started off, they hear about AI agents, and you've probably done the same. I know I have. I've heard people talking about AI agents and thought that actually sounds powerful, but what does it actually mean, right? How do I actually leverage them and use them for myself, right? And it's confusing. It can be complex, and honestly, I wish I had someone explain it to me in plain, simple English, because it would have saved me months of confusion, trial and error, wasted money, wasted time. And so in this video, I'm going to break down AI agents the way that I wish someone explained them to me when I was first getting started off. Okay, so I'm going to break this down step by step, crystal clear with no fluff, so that by the end, you'll not only get it, but you'll also see how you can actually use them in your business and your career today. Okay, so you don't need to be a coder. I have zero coding experience, and you don't need coding experience either. Or at least I didn't have any when I got started, but what you'll see very quickly is that once you do get started, you'll start to understand how coding works and ties into this stuff. First thing I want to talk about is why people are calling this the opportunity of a lifetime. All right, see, when I first heard about AI agents, people described them as some futuristic or sci-fi type of thing. And I tried reading the research, papers, watching tutorials, but it felt overly technical. And I kept asking myself, why can't someone just give me the straight answer, right? Like, it wasn't until I really struggled through building my own workflows that I realized they're actually very simple, but you just have to get to understand them. All right, and you can see here the quick question that I typed into ChatGPT. How much has interest and opportunity in the AI agent space grown over the last year based on real world data and statistics? And it says here that it grew from 5.4 billion in 2024 to 7.6 billion in 2025. All right, that's a 41% increase year over year. And I won't read through every single one of these stats, but you can read them here. You can see another stat that says 78% of organizations were using AI in 2024, which was up from 55% just a year before that in 2023. Okay, and it's only continued to grow significantly ever since then, and it will continue to grow for the next decade and even longer than that. All right, so what are AI agents, right? This is the definition that I wish I had. All right, an AI agent is simply an automated computer system that can take in information, think through instructions, make decisions, and then act on your behalf instead of just giving back static answers. An AI agent is like having an employee who has perfect memory, can learn any task, follows your exact instructions, is always working 24/7, costs a fraction of the average employee's salary. It never sleeps and improves itself over time through repetition. So how do AI agents work? All right, it's very simple. A human inputs information into what's called a large language model, or an LLM, and that LLM calls that information. And if it can process that information, it takes what's called an action. If it can't process it, then it'll stop the call. And then the human has to tweak that information until it can actually understand it. And then it takes the action. It takes the action and sends it through what's called an environment. So that's simply your computer or your local system or the internet, whatever it is. And then it sends feedback back to that LLM so that it can improve or rerun the same autonomous task over again, depending on what the human's needs are. And you do this through tying together different tools like email, LinkedIn, Slack, Instagram, X, or formerly Twitter, TikTok, and many, many other tools. Basically, if it has an API key, you can probably use AI agents with it. And here's another example of how the process works, right? So you'll start here, and then it'll go through process 1, process 2. It'll make a decision based on the information that it receives. And if the answer is yes, it'll continue through a specific process. If the answer is no, then it'll follow a different process. And it can either repeat the task or it can stop the task, again, depending on what the needs are for that specific task or what the human wants it to do. All right, so why should you care? The answer is simple. It's because AI agents change everything. In the old world, you had to manually copy and paste tools. You had to spend hours writing emails and manage every little step of the process yourself. But with AI agents, you can chain tasks together and let them run autonomously. Okay, so you have scalability with AI agents. They're easy to build. They have decision-making ability. There's minimal margin for error. Efficiency is improved. They're cost-effective. Speed is improved. Accuracy. And they're the future. You either learn or you get left behind. All right. So, a couple years ago, everyone was asking, ChatGPT how to do tasks like writing emails. And don't get me wrong, that's still very beneficial today. But now you can even take it a step further. So, for example, if you want to write an email, instead of just asking ChatGPT to write an email, you can have an agent that actually finds the lead, writes the draft of the email, sends the email, and then follows up on that email without you having to lift a finger. All right, that's the difference between using AI and actually having AI work for you. All right, so how can you use AI agents? All right, I won't go through every single way that you can use it, but I will break down some of the most common ways so that you understand and can start thinking about ways that you can leverage it in your business and in your career. All right, so the first step is marketing, cold outreach, writing personalized emails or messages on LinkedIn or any other social media platforms, content creation, so videos, blogs, social media posts. You can do all of these things and create different forms of content exclusively using AI, scraping leads, qualifying leads, follow-ups, and many, many more. All right, another way that you can use it is through onboarding processes. So onboarding documents for new employees or for new clients, you can automate that entire process, right? SOPs, standard operating procedures, collecting new employee and or client info, right? So this is what I do within my businesses is I use AI to collect new information on new clients and new employees without me having to be there 24/7. And it simplifies the process and saves a lot of time for both of us. You can send welcome emails and many, many more. And then also customer success as well. So sending out client reports, collecting feedback or giving feedback, building relationships, collecting reviews, and much, much more from there as well. Also, you have project management, right? So scheduling meetings, uploading documents, updating databases, tracking performance, and much more. All right, so how you can start today. Like I said before, you don't need to be a coder. All right, you don't need a PhD or a degree in AI. You just need to start with one small workflow. Pick a painful, repetitive task that you do every day. This can be anything, whether you're sending emails, conducting research, finding data online, collecting leads, whatever the process is, give it to an AI agent builder tool such as N8N, Zapier, or you can even create your custom workflows, your own custom workflows, and let the AI agent handle it from there. All right. And once you see how efficient it is, you'll never want to go back. All right. When I first started, I gave my AI agent one task that was rewriting resumes. And that alone saved me 10 to 20 hours every single week. And then once I realized that it was working, I passed it on to my employees and the rest of my team as well. And it saved them a lot of time as well. So once you see it work, then that's what you can stick with and you can constantly refine it over time and you'll never want to go back after that. Now, imagine scaling something up like that for every other area of your business. So having AI agents for sales, agents for customer support, agents for research, and even agents that build other agents, right? That's the direction that the world is going. All right. AI will stop being a tool that you use and become teammates that you manage. All right. And the people who learn how to leverage them now are going to have an unfair advantage for the next decade and even longer than that. All right. So here's what I've put together. If you want to go deeper, I created a free community where I post workflows, real world examples, and step-by-step guides on how to get started with building AI agents or how you can leverage them to increase profitability or productivity for yourself. It's the exact same playbook that I wish I had starting out. All right, and you can see here the community is just getting started, so it's 100% free for right now. So click the link in the description to join for free. You can also see some of the early successes that we've had. Thanks for watching. AI agents aren't some futuristic thing. They're here now, and they're going to be as normal as having employees or apps on your phone. The only question is, will you be the one managing them, or will you get left behind? It's really that simple. So join the community, start building your first agent, and you'll see how fast your productivity and opportunities explode. All right, thanks for watching, and remember, don't just use AI, let it work for you.